Hello and welcome to Freedom Gulch Podcast. This is our 7th episode, and in this episode we are going to be talking about the Libertarian National Convention. It just happened down in Orlando this past weekend. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend last minute, work-related stuff. I was unable to do so. Here to make it down there, Andy and Corey, along with Joshua, who, like me, was stuck in Virginia. So, all right, guys, let's just go ahead and dive into it. Just tell us what went down, starting with Andy.
There was a lot that went down. I saw somebody post on Facebook. They were like, 95% of the weirdest things I've seen in my entire life happened in the past weekend. I think that's probably But we had a great time. It was so much fun. We were in that convention with a ton of libertarians, and there are these comic book people walking through. There are volleyball players. There's Irish step dancing going on. It was a good time. It was the biggest convention ever. I loved it. And Corey was down there. I know he performed the song many times.
Yeah, it was my first convention, parlayed into the rest of the family vacation, but I'm glad that we went and got to meet everybody that I didn't meet along the campaign trail. So spent some time with Austin, met McAfee, and actually McAfee and myself really had a really long conversation. A lot of media with the boom microphones in my face. McAfee's wife talked to Mandy for about 40 minutes about how we can work to attract more minorities to the party.
Hey, Corey.
Spent time in the media pit with,
can you
they kind of looked at it like that.
The last bit.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Attract who?
Because I'm not this way. Basically, media, C-SPAN, and CNN were like, we don't have a cool media badge like you. What's Freedom Gulch? And I'm like, we're the underground media folks, because you guys won't cover us. And I was like, I was like, what do you think? And Mattingly from CNN was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. They kind of portray you guys as crazy, and this is stuff that needs to be broadcast. And I was like, right. So when you go back to New York, you tell the people at CNN that you came and you saw, and the Libertarian Party has something to offer, and we want to be in the limelight. We need to be covered. And I said, if you don't cover us, I kind of pointed to the line of independent media across the back of the conference center. I was like, we don't cover ourselves. We just want the rest of America that we have to offer, and this is our year. We're gonna, tip the top of the, make it the tipping point and make some things happen. So I exchanged cards and information with a lot of the mainstream media, and we'll start sending them stuff. Maybe they'll start picking up on some of the stuff that we're trying to do in the communities, and try to get Gary, Governor Johnson, and Governor Weld positive traction out there.
That's great. I'm glad that they liked the media passes that I created for y'all. But no, that's great. I saw, being an outsider looking in, watching C-SPAN and the Ustream, live streams, whatnot. Seeing all the media coverage was like, wow. Because when I went to Columbus, I don't know if there was any mainstream media there. And seeing all the CNN, MSNBC, the Fox News, all those major media outlets there, all those cameras and microphones, it was really cool. I really wish I was there, kicking myself, and then finding out that, I really should have been there, not be able to get an award, but next time.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Will got the Patrick Henry Award. Very big deal, very exciting.
Yeah, so they better mail me that trophy so I can put it up my bookcase or something. maybe I'll put it back here, put it so everybody can see it during the podcast.
Right.
We need to do like a proper introduction to Freedom Gulch in the next time. It's like the Patrick Henry Award winning.
I mean, I couldn't have done it without people like Joshua Huffman. He helped me. He was a campaign grunt, and he was a political consultant. And he was whatever I needed him to be. So people like him and Brian Heiner and Roanoke Valley Libertarians, and whatnot, they're great organizations that helped me, and I couldn't have done it without them. So.
Well, here, if of course, not being somebody who actually attended the convention, I was, getting updates on my phone while I was at church. I guess maybe that wasn't the best thing, but I was very excited about it. And as soon as church was over, I came home and actually just pulled up my computer and watched it pretty much nonstop on C-SPAN. Well, until they actually had the election for vice presidential candidate, and they cut the feed. But that was many hours. And I was actually, of course, I was disappointed that I couldn't actually be there in person. I think it would have been a fantastic place to be. But, well, yes, of course. Oh dear, that was something. But yeah, I assume we're going to get to that point momentarily.
Well, let's go ahead and get into that. That's what. I was away most of the day on Sunday, and then literally the first thing I saw when I turned on the C-SPAN thing was what's his first name? James Weeks, right?
James Weeks.
Yeah, James Weeks doing a striptease and then promptly dropping out of the chair race. That's the only thing you'll find at a Libertarian convention, not a Republican and Democrat. But at the same time, it was hilarious. But also thinking about people that are not used to us. They may not see that in the best of light. So I hope that didn't have a negative effect on people's opinion of the party for one individual's actions.
Yeah, I actually got into a bit of a debate with Michael about this, and of course he's not on the podcast tonight. But I don't know. I thought that was wildly inappropriate. This is now, of course. Then again, this is somebody who's actually been to a lot of Republican conventions, and somebody who tried to do that would get booed and escorted off the stage. And it just felt to me that I understand, yes, freedom of expression, and that's fine. And I'm not saying, that he should have been arrested or anything like that, but it's just in terms of, if this is the first time, some of these people is the first time they've ever seen the Libertarian Party, and to see some guy dancing around in a thong, might think, oh, well, this is, like the British have, a raving loony party?
Yes.
And they might think, well, this is the same thing, that this is not actually a serious operation, and which is, in my way of thinking, rather counterproductive, because, of course, in terms of elected office experience, the Libertarian Party has nominated a ticket which presumably might actually even have more experience than either the Republican or the Democrats, and it sort of drew away from that message, I felt like, to have him do that.
No, I definitely agree.
That
was, a lot of people that were just first-time lookers, might have just heard about it, checking it out. Hopefully people look past one individual's actions.
That was the big debate after Sunday on the floor of the convention, and people had very strong opinions either way. My general feeling is it just went on too long. It became clear very soon what was happening, and they just didn't stop it.
Yeah,
it was going on for a minute. He should have been ejected from the hall. He should not be ejected from the party. We're the party that is. We just put Star Child on the LNC, and that's a beautiful thing about the Libertarian Party, that we're able to accept everyone. So we can't get too out of control. It wasn't handled very well. I don't know. Did you guys see the National Review article?
No, I haven't.
There is one. It talks about being terminally unserious and other things like that. It certainly wasn't productive in that regard.
So how was the feeling, or what was the mood, when that occurred in the convention hall?
I mean, I was in the back. I was sitting with the North Carolina affiliate because they had power, and I was able to plug in and kind of blog and stuff for Virginia Wright. Mandy was sitting next to me, and she was like, he's going to take his clothes off as soon as he took his jacket off. But we couldn't get, I mean, I would have went to the stage and asked him to get down, but I couldn't get out of where I was to get to the stage to get to him. A lot of people kind of laughed. Some people booed. I got a lot of calls, and they were like, what's wrong with your party, Corey? And I was kind of like, he has a right to express himself. Not saying we agreed with him. I thought it was a little bit distasteful, like Josh said, because this is maybe the first time we're getting a lot of mainstream traction, and stuff like that just made him look really bad, and I think it made us look really bad. So I don't think he should be ejected from the party either. I mean, I think they should have put him out. I don't know whether they did or not. But I mean, I think it just was a negative impact to something that was really serious.
And the night before he was in the chairman's debate, but I don't know if he jumped in late. Obviously he did. So he's standing on the side without a podium.
Yeah, I saw that.
And every question they ask, he has to reach over to Dr. Lark and get the microphone and answer them.
Poor Dr. Lark. Deal with them.
Well, sure. And that's another thing. Is I felt like that that wasn't respectful for Dr. Lark at all. I mean, if I don't know what I would have done if I had been the temporary chair like he had, but I think that sort of put him in an awful position. I mean, because I wouldn't want to run on stage and try to physically get that guy out of there.
Yeah.
It's violated the non-aggression principle.
I don't know. He might have violated somebody's rights,
I thought it was funny that after Weeks leaves the stage, Dr. Lark comes up and he gets on the podium and he says, "Did the gentleman leave his mobile phone?"
All right, so let's move on to maybe some more serious business. So obviously we know Gary Johnson won the presidential nomination, and Bill Weld got the vice presidential. It seemed like it was kind of up in the air, especially for the VP pick. And Larry Sharp nearly pulled it out at the end. I saw, what did he get, like 40? What was it, 40-some% to Wells, like 50 or 51? It was really close.
Yeah, it was really close.
Well, so what was going on behind the scenes, and what was the mood and the feeling with that?
Well, Larry Sharp. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Andy.
Okay. All I was going to say, Larry Sharp owned that convention. I think there are a lot of us who saw him on the Freedom Gulch debate, or who saw his really well-run social media, but maybe hadn't met the guy. And I certainly came in there leaning towards Alicia, but having been on the floor and meeting him and seeing the momentum behind him, he was there to play. And part of the reason that he did so well was that Michael Pickens was running the show for him. He deserves all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah, I wish Michael could join us, but he has a storm and an internet outage currently over in, I guess he's in Washington, in Washington. But yeah, Larry Sharp with Michael Pickens and I doing the debate. He came in early because he gave the candidates the link, which actually turned out to give everyone but Larry Sharp the wrong one. But he came in early, and so we talked for a few minutes, and he just really seemed down to earth. And then watching his performance, listen to his answers, he's a great communicator of libertarian principles and ideas, and I think he could actually bring that message to the masses. And I thought he killed the debate down in Orlando. I mean, I thought he killed the debate. I thought he did the best.
Well, and that's one thing I didn't understand. because I saw the video that he put out at the debate at the convention, right before they had the vote, and I didn't think that was very good. I mean, all it was is pretty much his life story. I mean, just kept going, and it wasn't uninteresting, but I just kept wondering, well, how does this have to relate to his campaign? And afterward, I saw another video, very professionally well done, that made a strong case for his candidacy. And I'm thinking, why in the world did they not show that at the convention? It didn't make any sense to me.
I completely agree with you. It wasn't a bad video. It went on too long. And it wasn't the kind of fire and brimstone that he needed to pull out in that race, especially against William Weld, because he could have fired up that convention hall, and the video didn't really do that.
He nearly pulled it off, though. I think he has. Yeah. If he wants to run again, I think he has people that did not know about him and just kind of were all taken back by him, that now he might have some followers for the next convention.
That's what I told him. I told him on social media. I called Andy, asked Andy some questions. I met with him, Saturday, and I was like, if you had got in earlier, I think you could have pulled it off. McCormick also. I met Kevin McCormick in North Carolina when I went to speak. I thought he was a decent. I mean, if they had gotten in earlier, I especially Sharp. I know Sharp could have pulled it off. So I look forward to seeing him again shortly and seeing what type of power and momentum he can get behind him in another run.
My understanding is that he will be running again as a Libertarian. I don't know about vice president, but we should be seeing a lot of Larry Sharp in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope so. He's a great communicator. I think that's one thing that we lack as a party is professionalism and the message. Being able to deliver. We have the ideas, the principles. We just have to package it a certain way, and I think Larry Sharp really can package it that way.
He's great.
So what was the drama like, just with the different nominations? Because I know that Gary Johnson had to go to a second ballot, as did the vice presidential for Bill Weld. What was the feel in the convention hall, and what was all the scrambling going on? I saw Will Coley endorse Larry Sharp, and I saw Perry out there as well. And what was the situation?
Well, so maybe.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The presidential vote, it was kind of in a weird middle ground, where people either thought Johnson will win handily on the first ballot, or he's really in trouble on the second ballot. And instead it got pushed to a second ballot, and he was only about 5 away. So I know that there were some people there who said, look, I don't want to be here all day. I'm just going to finish this out and give it to Gary. So there wasn't a whole lot of drama. At that point, I think it was a huge victory to push it to the second ballot.
I think with William Weld,
the vice presidential was interesting.
I'm sorry.
No, what do you think, Corey?
I think a lot of people kind of question whether or not Mr. Weld is a legitimate libertarian. I don't really know that much about him. I was doing some reading today. Some people were circulating stuff on social media about he's only been a libertarian for 16 days, and he's supposed to be a libertarian for 30, and they feel like we need to contest it. I don't know if that can be done, but I think people think maybe part of us made the ticket because we have to make a deal and make it the way it is for the rest of America to kind of look at us seriously as a third-party option. So I'm not sure that everybody's happy with the ticket. I have seen a lot of social media posts talking about regardless. Some people are saying they're going to support the party because of the principle. a lot of Austin Peterson supporters are like, we're writing in Austin's name, and that's what they want to do. So it was quite interesting to watch at least the vice presidential vote unfold in front of you.
Yeah, it was a big fight. And I think Will alluded to all the endorsements that were flying back and forth. It was kind of funny, especially even on this podcast. We've talked about how much the radicals and Austin Peterson people have been butting heads all year, but at that point they were together. They were together for very sharp, and so that's really interesting. Bill Weld, and now it's time for them to deliver, because they were selling this as an opportunity to do something big, and now they need to deliver.
Yeah, they definitely need to deliver. I've seen a lot of people, and myself included, Austin Peterson. I mean, he's got a great image. He's got great public speaking skills. If he did not try to just aggravate people and just really be, really just mean-spirited towards the radicals and people who believe in the NAP at the beginning, first few months of his campaign, he might actually have more support, because he can present himself in a very good way. He's clean-cut. He can speak really well. He sounded really good at the convention, but a lot of people, I think, were, hurt or, just not wanting to accept him because of what he did earlier in his campaign.
Well, and speaking of that, of course, I assume you all saw or listened to the Chris Cantwell interview he did?
No, I missed that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know. Personally, now, of course, I'm a very conservative type of person, and I saw that, and I thought, if this guy gets the nomination, this is probably going to be used against him a lot. And it felt like that demonstrated a temperament that just wasn't quite right to be the Libertarian nominee, in my opinion.
Well, so after the debate, I know I was on C-SPAN, I got a message from Will Hammer saying, "Hey, is that Andy with an Austin Peterson sticker on his chest?" And it was. Y'all might be surprised, and people who have watched this podcast over the past few weeks would be surprised to know that. But I was working on that campaign. I got to know Austin. I like Austin a lot. I think he did dig himself a hole in the beginning. I think if you've been watching closely, you've noticed a change in tone lately, and you certainly noticed a change in tone at the convention. Jeffrey Carson was running the end of that campaign. He did a great job. That's my guy. The stuff that they were able to get out of their people. They had 18-year-olds running states. National volunteer coordinator who was awesome. Worked with Laura Myers a lot this weekend. 21. To push it to a second ballot against Gary Johnson, who had been campaigning for 4 years, is really impressive, especially after having done that. I look forward to seeing Austin in the future. I think if he wants to run again, he could definitely do it. If not for the president, then somewhere else.
That's why I think he has potential, but he shot himself in the foot, I think, the first few months of his campaign. He just rustled too many jimmies, and people just deal with him, didn't take him seriously, didn't know if he was really libertarian, didn't know this, and just the internet troll in him, just not like presidential. It's not something that we want dug up, and we live in the information age. Everything that you do online is there, and so people have screenshots of various comments that are not very pleasant, and you have interviews with him, saying stuff a certain way, and it's just, he needs to probably do what he did the last few weeks, months in his campaign the next 4 years if he wants to think about doing it again.
Well, one thing I will say for Peterson, though, is I would like to see an influx of pro-life libertarians. And of course, I know I'm in the minority here, but just to say, hey, this is not an issue with the federal government should be funding all that sort of stuff. I assume we can all agree on that. I hope.
Yeah, obviously.
Because I think that that's what's keeping a lot of folks away from a group like the Libertarian Party is they I like a lot of what you stand for, but they feel like, of course, abortion is a violation of the non-aggression principle. Now, of course, there is obviously room to debate that, but I think it's good to have that conversation personally.
Yeah,
definitely, we need to have that conversation. Go ahead, Andy.
He got a lot of support, partially for that reason, but also because of some other ties to conservative networks and things like that. There actually was a big debate about the abortion plank. I was not on the floor for that. I was running around. Hey, Corey, you didn't see the platform stuff, did you?
Did see what platform stuff?
The arguments. I think that was before you got there.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I was on the floor. We now have an anti-death penalty.
I got there till the tail end of the presidential stuff, and then by the time I found somewhere to sit and kind of get online and stuff, they were going into like the vice presidential stuff. I came in after the end of the first round for Gary and Austin.
Got it. Yeah, so they debated abortion. They kept the plank the same as it was, which is kind of tries to take a middle ground. I'm not sure if it does or not. We can argue about that in 2 years again. The death penalty plank was a really good one, and they had proposed this long thing that had these statistics in it. It made weird references. And so somebody just said, why don't we change it to, we oppose the administration of the death penalty by the state. And that's what we have now. Just watching Corey run through stuff.
Can you repeat that?
See, now you're freezing on me.
Can you repeat yourself last?
Jeez. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to plug my phone in before it dies.
So what else?
I don't know what you just said. So my thought with the abortion, I mean, there's definitely that's one issue that libertarians will disagree on. There's a faction here and a faction there. I don't know if we necessarily want to be more pro-life, in a sense of the social conservatism. We're not conservatives. We're libertarians. When you get a lot of the pro-life people, you get a lot of the social conservatives that want to dictate how you live your life. And so I think what we need to do is stay true to what we are, try to educate people, bring people in, and try to change their minds about that. But I definitely do see with abortion being one issue where it's kind of, when does life begin? And life is the foundation of liberty. If you don't have life, then you don't have liberty. So it definitely is a great issue. And it definitely should be debated and talked about within libertarian circles and the party for the platform as well.
What do you think about the death penalty plank, Will?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Andy?
Did you see the new death penalty plank? What do you think?
No, I think you're trying to talk about that, but then you kind of went out on us for a while.
So they had proposed a really long version that included statistics based on how many people are exonerated, which would have to be changed every convention anyway. So it was a really good push to get an anti-death penalty plank, but a really poorly written plank that was proposed. What the body ended up accepting was very simple. It just said we oppose the administration of the death penalty by the state. And that's what we have now.
So we did not have that before, or?
No, there was no position taken on the death penalty.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
So what do you feel about that? You think that's a good way to word it, or what do you think?
I think that was much better than the first proposal. That was the one platform plank that I made sure I was on the floor for. And I think there were a lot of people who felt that way too. I'm glad we got it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty simple and allocated the building. Definitely, I imagine Mr. Reed would agree with that. He wants public executions and to have children watching and whatnot.
My goodness.
How many votes did he get? Did he just vote for himself and that's the only vote he got?
What did he say? What did he say? He said he saw me in a Florida suite, and he was like, "Yeah, Corey, I crashed and burned." And I said, "So I'm sorry to hear that." And he was like, "I said, so you gonna come back next year?" And he was like, "No, this is the last election. Trump's pushing the button." I was like, "Okay."
He was there.
That guy was crazy. So how many did he get? Like one vote? And I guess he voted for himself, or was he a delegate?
One vote, but he got 4 tokens for the debate. I don't know who gave him those.
I think he might have.
I'll tell you who did awesome. Did y'all see Mark Allen Feldman's speech during the debate?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so awesome! And everybody, the Peterson people, the Johnson people, the Perry people, everybody just loves Dr. Feldman because he's been around and he's just a funny guy. And he killed it on this Libertarian and that Libertarian. And then the next morning, he's sitting in breakfast and someone gets hit by a car outside.
That's all about
and
that.
And he runs out to give them first aid. Feldman won the convention.
Well, I think the chairman, Nicholas Sarwark, put it really well that, libertarians care about people. People think that libertarians are cold-hearted and whatever, but we actually care about our fellow human beings. That's why we want to get rid of the overreaching and arms of the state and allow people to empower themselves, as like Dr. Feldman would say, empower the individual. And which, with us, you actually grow your community, because you become more interested in your neighbor and your community, your family. You're not relying on the federal government or state government or whatever government for charitable and, for welfare and whatnot. You have mutual aid societies, you have churches, you have charities, you have private organizations or just neighborhood communities come together to help each other.
Yeah, man. It's a great story. That's not something to think about.
Yeah, and that just exemplifies what we are. We care about our fellow human beings. And so I think that was really nice. I hope a lot of people saw that on C-SPAN during that time when the chairman was speaking. But yeah, it seemed like it was a really good time. Like I said, I wish I was down there. Anything else? I know since you were an Austin Peterson person, what was the feel in that camp?
Well, it was like I said, it was kind of somewhere in between. Because we did push it to the second ballot, and that was great. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot this year. So future conventions, we're going to be a lot better prepared. We had a lot of fun. There was some chance, especially coming out of the Thursday debate with the original Libertarian thing, where Johnson is just like crushed in the room, just booed down. it was pointed out later, I think correctly, that the people who show up early on Thursday, things like that, are more of the radicals. They're more of the people who've been in the party around.
Purists.
Yeah, they're not
keep...
getting bussed in to vote for Kerry Johnson. And so that affected the tone of the room, I think. But you know what? It was a great convention for that team. I'm certainly very proud of the work that I did and that everyone else there did, and I hope they are too. There's a lot of talent there that I hope sticks around.
I told Andy that I told Andy that I was impressed by the way that the younger generation approached the campaign. I told Austin that my Twitter feed every morning was full, and it was just him. I told him that, you know, just from being a part of Toastmasters International and Will talking about being a good orator, like Austin commands the room. He gives people energy. I talked to a lot of his supporters, and they were like, either I didn't vote at all, or I was a Republican, and just his ability to kind of galvanize and create energy, you know, kinetic energy with his volunteers and with his staff. I thought that was superb. I didn't always agree with everything he said and how he said it, but the energy in his camp throughout the campaign was great. When I finally got to meet him that day, he was good. He was gracious. He asked me my opinions. I mean, I really think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with the next time around, whatever he decides to run for. And I appreciate Andy teaching me a little bit about what was going on in the room. And I'm looking forward to seeing the young people, you know, continue that momentum into the next campaign cycle.
Absolutely. And even just in Virginia, we brought volunteers on because of and members to the Libertarian Party of Virginia. And that's really what we're here to do.
Here, there's one thing I'd like to discuss, if that'd be all right.
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
One thing I did not like was what John McAfee said at the end of after he had not won the nomination. You know, the sort of shame on you speech, if you will. If you've heard that.
What happened?
Well, he's saying, you know, the party needs to be more inclusive toward people of different genders, of different ethnicities, all this sort of thing. And, you know, I thought to me, it felt very disingenuous, given that, of course, when he first started running for president, it was under the, Cybersecurity Party or something like that? You know, and he had only been a member of the party about 6 months or less. So, you know, I didn't feel like that was his place to go around and say that sort of thing. I felt like, hey, you know, if you wanted to see this sort of thing, you know, you should have been working toward it instead of just, you know, pointing the fingers at people and saying, you know, nuts to you. And, of course, I don't even know if he's going to stick with the party now that it's over, because he said he wasn't going to support Gary Johnson earlier. I don't know if there's been any move on that now, but I don't know. That whole thing rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
I spoke to him after the speech. He had a whole camera crew following him, so I was trying to be politically correct to the party because they were recording me, and I don't know where that video went. I know he was angry that he didn't get the nomination. I spoke to him, Mandy spoke to his wife, and then I spoke to his wife. My concern is the fact that Mr. Harmon DM'd me this morning and was like, Corey, what are you going to, you know, you guys need to make a statement about what McAfee said. And this is what I'm saying to everybody. I'm involved in the African American community. I mentor, I tutor, I'm involved. Black people are not just the same way that you guys came to my organization and you found me. I'm doing outreach in my own community, and my own people are looking at me and Mandy like we're crazy. We can't help everybody, I feel. And because I went to a historically black college. I grew up in a Caribbean American community. My kids go to a majority African American school. I graduated from a historically black college. I'm a member of historically black organizations, and black people in Richmond question my blackness. I don't know what to tell you.
Really?
If people don't want to meet me where I'm at and they want to call me names and talk bad about me, so be it. I'm ready to pack my stuff, move to North Carolina, get a farm, and hang out with the doomsday preppers. Because in another couple of years, they're going to be turning South Richmond into a damn FEMA camp. If y'all want to stay up here with that stuff, with these black politicians, like Tony Grievous says, it used to be an old white boys club, and now it's an old black people's club, and the black people don't even want to let people my age in, let alone people Andy's age in, and they're running the city into the ground with Democratic leadership, and you question my blackness, I don't know what else to tell you. If black folks don't want to come on board, all we can do is what we continue to do and show that there's brotherhood and sisterhood regardless of our color, regardless of our religious pursuit, regardless of who we want to sleep with, regardless if we like animals or not. Everybody should be free to do whatever they want as long as they don't hurt us. I'm all for attracting more African Americans. I spoke to the NAACP today in Richmond and in New Jersey because the Libertarian group in Jersey got on Facebook with me, and I did the outreach. I'll go speak to anybody. But if you guys want to make fun of us, they're making fun of me just as much as they would be making fun of Mr. McAfee. So I feel like we have work to do, but if we go and we enter these other communities and speak to Hispanics and speak to Mexicans and speak to African Americans and Caribbean Americans and they don't want to budge, I only can be a libertarian by showing people what I think liberty is. And I think liberty is uniting with people, working together, being involved in your community, giving to your fellow neighbor when he or she is in need. That's liberty to me. And that's what you guys have shown me. You've embraced me. You've helped educate me. And I think that the Libertarian Party, when people want to decide to get on it, I got to get a charge, you guys, because I'm going to die. So I might fade out on y'all.
Okay. Well, I think Corey brings up a great point that, great points, and I really appreciate his outreach and everything. I wish people would learn that the libertarians in general, but the Libertarian Party, if you're talking about politics, we are the inclusive party. We include everybody. We do not judge people on the color of their skin, on their sexual preference, on their social economic situation. We do not judge people on those various labels. We look at people as individuals. Just like, Martin Luther King Jr. wanted to see his children be judged by their character. That's what we do. We look at people by their character, by their individuality. We do not stereotype and group people into things and try to exclude anybody.
I think the speech, it kind of hit the wrong tone. That's a real problem that we have in the party. I agree with it. There was something about this speech that was a little strange. It's a real problem, for sure. I don't know if McAfee's going to be around or not. He said he wouldn't support Gary Johnson, but there's also a lot of talk about this Vote Different initiative that he's done and is building with Judd Weiss. And he was doing outreach to down-ballot candidates this weekend. That was, of course, before the nomination. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see, honestly, from the 16, 17 presidential candidates, how many of them are around in 6 months. 6 hours for some of them. But
I mean,
they're going to want to do the dirty work and build a party, or are they just trying to...
Daryl Perry will be here. You know that.
Go ahead, Corey.
I spoke with him. We exchanged information. He said he was going to be around. I'm the type of person to reach out. I just think that this election is important, and we have to show people you know, I feel like they feel if they vote for us or any third party, Green Party, whatever, they feel like their vote's not going to matter. But if you're as involved in your community as all of us are, people are gonna start taking notice of what's going on and who you are and what you stand for. And that's how it is in my community. People may not like me. I tell you that all the city council people, all the new people running for school board, every single last one of them has called me in the last week. And they're like, Corey, we want you to look at this. We want you to help. We want you to come get signatures with us. I mean, people pay attention. All the school board people, all the city council people, they email me on a regular basis. They want to know what I think. I just feel like we all have to work together. And we can't just be, you know, you can't take your baseball bat and glove home when you don't win the game. And you can't be sore. You just got to keep pushing forward. I think that's what I learned from my time with Dr. Lark, is that you can't be angry at people. You have to have a genuine openness to attract people to liberty. Because after a while, they're going to come. It's just about the message that they get. And I can kind of see where you guys are coming from with regard to Mr. McAfee's, you know, shame on us. Well, like you said, well, what did he do to help attract African Americans? Because when I read about him in the paper, I was like, this dude's an idiot. But then when I spoke to him, just the same way I spoke to Austin, if you get to talk to them face to face and really share some things, they open up to you. So I definitely respect the two of them, because they were the last two nominees that I didn't meet during the course of the campaign. And I appreciate I spent a lot of time with Austin in his camp, and I spent probably a good 35 minutes with Mr. McAfee and his wife, and just talking about what they want to do to lend some of the technology that they command to the party. So I think they'll be around for a little while, because I think they have some initiatives that they're trying to introduce, and we could really use that type of help to make us look more polished, you know, as a party. And I think that one thing I suggest, and I know we've done it in Richmond, Toastmasters International has started a group for people who are looking to run for political office, so that they can be groomed in order to speak properly. And when they're, you know, in a community and somebody doesn't agree with you, it shouldn't be a fight, you know, like the celebrity death match. It should be an exchange of ideas, and you stay optimistic even though you may not agree with the person that you're speaking with. And I think that's something that the Libertarian Party needs to look into.
Well, I think it's good points there, Corey. And like I was saying, I don't know if you heard, but I wish people realize that the Libertarian Party, libertarians in general, is the party of inclusion, that we include all races, all creeds, all people of all sexual preferences. We don't look at people on those type of stereotypes or those labels. We look at people as individuals. We judge people by their character, you know, just like Martin Luther King Jr. would want us to do. We look at people by their character as individuals.
And I think you guys do, and that's part of the reason why I've started, you know, trying to really reach out to people, because unless you come and experience the Libertarian Party, you're not going to know. Just standing on the outside looking in, you might, the first thing you say, well, I don't see a lot of black people, I don't see a lot of gays and lesbians, so I'm not going to go over there. But you need to really meet some of the grassroots organizers in the organization and look to see, you know, how you can make it better and, you know, get something introduced to the party. I don't think you guys or the party is not a party of inclusion. I was really surprised when I started visiting all of the different groups in the Metro Richmond area. I felt included. I felt welcomed. I felt like they wanted to help me understand things that I don't understand. I call Andy all the time. I was like, I didn't get the Nazi wedding cake, and Andy had to, you know, break it down for me. I call Connie all the time. You know, something I don't understand, you know, you reach out for some assistance and guidance, and I think that's what makes the party home to me. I consider you guys my family, and I think it's a really good thing, and I just want to try to help spread that message. And so do the members of my family, all the way down to my kids.
Well, appreciate it, Corey. We definitely appreciate all the work that you do, and look forward to more outreach and what you're going to bring to the party.
Sure, thank you.
All right, guys. Anything else on the convention? Where's the real quick? Where's the 2018 convention?
New Orleans.
New Orleans?
New Orleans, Louisiana. Yes, sir.
And do they have a date for it?
It will be later.
Are they going to have? Do they have a date for it or?
Not yet, but it will be in June rather than in May. I think it's going to be a little bit closer to the Democratic and Republican convention. It'll be smaller because it won't be nominating a presidential.
Yeah, the off season.
There's already a fight.
That's what went to the Columbus one. So.
Yeah.
What are there top picks for 2020, or is it nomination process began for that, or?
It's time where like a lot of the state parties are starting to put feelers out there. I've seen Seattle, I've seen Minneapolis, I've seen West Virginia, and we've got 3 great places we could do it in Virginia: Northern Virginia, Richmond, or the Virginia Beach Tidewater. I don't know. These have kind of been a handful of East Coast in a row, so maybe they want to go west. We, of course, love to have it in Virginia. I'm not sure when they make that decision. LNC meeting.
I'm hoping to be there 2020, so... sorry, Andy, you kind of...
I'm here.
Can you repeat what you just said?
I don't think he was speaking. I think he was just nodding his head. These are good times.
These are good times. That's what I was saying.
Good times. All right. Any other thoughts or comments on the convention?
I'm glad that convention season is over. It's hard, conventions and primaries, because and not just the national convention, but congressional conventions. You sometimes end up on the opposite side of your friends, and it's nice that we're here and we're all on the same team again.
I think we're always on the same team. It's just different
That's right.
ways to get to our end goal.
Any final thoughts, Joshua, on the convention?
Oh, well, again, I wish I could have been there.
Yeah.
It's really the only I can say.
How are we going to kill 5
Well, we don't have to go a full hour. I think we did really well covering that. Some good insight by Andy and Corey. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I wish I was down there. I definitely enjoyed Columbus. I wish, this one's obviously bigger and better, and it would have been great to be there and be able to hang out with the Libertarian Party family. Looking forward to hopefully 2018 and definitely 2020. We got Johnson and Weld, and I think that as a party we just need to get behind them, and this might be our year. We're getting a lot of unprecedented media coverage, and hopefully they stick true to the libertarian message, and we're able to get on the debate stage. Will be great, and get that message nationally, and see what happens. It might be a very interesting election season in November.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Any final words?
Legalize freedom.
Socialism sucks. All right, guys. Well, it was a good podcast. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
All right, y'all take care.
See you later.
This is done.
Huh.